Well, I have to say, I grew up in Tulsa, very close to what is now Council Oaks Elementary School. I went to, it was Lee Elementary at the time, and I walked to school every day. Some of my first memories are of that neighborhood with my friends, like after tornadoes, playing in the trees that had fallen down in this little park that was in front of our homes. And it was just a really idyllic childhood. We were allowed to play outside all day long. We had to come in at dark. We walked to school. We rode our bikes pretty much anywhere we wanted to go. We had dogs, and it was such an idyllic upbringing in that beautiful area of that part of Tulsa that I always wished upon people to just kind of get a glimpse of what that was like. It was a very safe place, I felt like, and I went to Lee School until 6th grade. And then about that time, my dad bought a farm in Inola, Oklahoma. He bought about 160 acres. And from that point on, I went on the weekends, many, many, many weekends. We would drive out there, and my dad had this vision of being a gentleman farmer, maybe had, 30 head of cattle. And I just remember just the adventure that presented in my life at the time when you're a teenager, and a lot of my friends were going roller skating, and doing all that stuff that was popular in the 70s. I had this opportunity. At the time, I was pretty begrudging about it some days, but to go out there and learn to drive a tractor and just get to know what cows are all about. But I never really felt like I was a farm girl or anything. It was just a weekend activity at the time. And I would watch my dad make so many mistakes, like, trying to do this, trying to do that, and learning as he went along. And I really admired it in that it was something that was completely out of his wheelhouse, but he decided that he was going to learn how to be like a, cow rancher, I guess. And I think his friends even thought he was kind of crazy, but I spent a lot of time just being out there, and the open prairie and the big sky. Of course, you just fall in love with that. And the wind, you don't fall in love with that ever, I don't think. But so a lot of my first memories were of those places as I became a teenager. Then I went to Holland Hall as junior high, and that was a pretty rarefied environment with lots of, wonderful, wonderful teachers. I just remember forming my love of, literature. Mary Yakey was one of my teachers who I just really admired. And then I had this fantastic Latin teacher named William Bippus, who really introduced me to, Latin, like who takes Latin anymore? And then ironically, when he had to take a leave of absence, Ruth Nelson was our Latin teacher. And she, of course, is such a powerful figure. Everyone knows Ruth Kaiser Nelson now, what a powerful woman she is in Tulsa, was in Tulsa. But so she was my Latin teacher and tennis coach and taught me so many lessons. But overall, I think I had a really, very privileged upbringing. I was able to do so many things, learn how to ride horses. I took ballet at the Tulsa School of Ballet, and Moslyn Larkin was my teacher, who was also probably the most influential woman, who just gave me just a sense of how to be a responsible person dedicated to your art form. And I think she was the first artist that I ever watched have this discipline and this lifestyle and this daily commitment to her art form, which was ballet. And there was many, many heartbreaks in that realm too, because you always want to be thinner and taller and better, and especially back then. And so I battled those feelings a lot. Even as a young person, you had to deal with that. And I think becoming an actor was a part, partly because I didn't feel that I could make it as a dancer. And I did have this artistic part of me that just needed to be expressed. And so my family later moved to Washington, D.C. when I was in 9th grade. My dad worked in the Carter administration. And so that that was, that's when I had to leave Tulsa. And it was pretty much the last time I ever really lived in Tulsa as like on a daily basis was then.